What is up, everybody? Tuesday. It is Tuesday, October 15th. Had a great day in the market. I took a trade. I was only able to get this 1 to 3, well, pretty much a 1 to 3 risk 3 reward trade. But am I a little upset that I missed out on the entire move today? Yeah, a little bit. I sincerely did not expect price to move this much today. That was insane. I mean, if you caught that whole drop, that's amazing. I honestly should have left runners just because of how aggressive this drop was. And also, it's been a while since we've had this kind of price action where we have like a really massive drop in that sense. So, you know, I haven't been used to it. I haven't been used to these moves, but it seems like price wants to start moving again. Finally, after like, I don't know, 2 months, I feel like, of just short moves. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, but that's just how it felt. But yeah, how did everybody do today? Everyone who's on the live, how did you guys do today? Did you guys get a win? Did you guys lose? Let me know. For those who are just joining in, my name is Koinonia Trader. I've been trading in the stock market for about 4 years and a half almost. Out of those 4.5 years, I have been consistently profitable for a year and a half ish. And yeah, I day trade NASDAQ futures. That is what I mainly focus on. As you can see, MNQ1 is what I love to trade. I've traded ES, I've traded gold, oil, all of those. I used to trade options before, but I moved over to futures and have not looked back ever since. It's honestly my bread and butter. I love trading futures. So I go live at least twice a week. I try to go live. Thank you so much for the follow. I try to go live twice a week just to go over the trades that I took during the day, to bestow that knowledge to anyone out there who is willing to listen, who wants to learn, who is hungry to understand how to be able to navigate these markets, because these markets are not easy. That is for certain. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of willpower to keep going, even when you feel defeated. But of course, it's definitely possible if you have the perseverance to keep going. Keith, thank you so much for the follow. So I go over the trades that I take. We're going to go over this trade right here. This was the only trade that I took. I did see 2 other opportunities, and we'll review those too, but I did not take those since I do not trade the PM session. So this was the one trade that I took. It was a 1 to 2.9. And then, nice, Mr. Brenda. That's awesome. Glad to hear that you took the same short. Awesome. Did you catch the entire move? I unfortunately didn't. I took off the majority of, or pretty much all my profit off of that low right there. So once price tapped into that, I was done. So yeah, let's get into why I took a short. I know a lot of people were looking to go long today. No good reason for it to go long. So as you guys have seen, nice. Yeah, that's where I took profit too. I took some off too. Man, I honestly did not expect that much of a drop, but hey, we'll take it, right? So overall, if you take a look, thank you, Mr. Bassier, for the follow. If you take a look, this price action lately has been completely bullish on the 4-hour chart. I mean, overall, NASDAQ is just continuously going up. I think because we have had a weekly close above this level, we are going to see all-time high soon. That is coming. I know on the NASDAQ, we've already hit all-time high. So overall, I was coming in with a bullish bias at first, just because of how price was, you know, acting in this area. It was within this 4-hour fair value gap. So my initial thinking was that we were going to get a move down at the open, taking out this level of liquidity, finding support within this 4-hour fair value gap, and then continuing to move on higher, specifically to target this 691.25 level. That is my next target for upside. But as you can see, price moved way more than just that. So that was my move. That was my initial thinking, that we were gonna hit this low right there. So taking a look at the 1-hour time frame, the one thing that I noticed was that we had this 1-hour fair value gap that was a bearish fair value gap. All right, price could technically tap into that and then reject off of it, which is what my initial thought was. But if we ended up getting a close above it, let's expand that a little bit so you guys can read it. So I wrote, it needs a 1-hour close above to go higher. You can't see it, but that's what I wrote. If it had a 1-hour close above this level of 2624.75, which is invalidating that bearish for value gap, I was expecting price to move higher. targeting these levels of buy side. As you can see, obviously we did not get that. So drop down into the 1 minute with me. Let's take a look and review why I did not take a long. Let's go over to where that entry is. So because I wanted to see that 1 hour close above, I waited for 10 o'clock. I wanted to see where price was at 10 o'clock to be able to understand, okay, are we bullish? Does it look like we're getting bullish order flow in the 1 hour time frame, or should we look to go lower? So like I said, 10 o'clock, we reached above that level. So let's zoom in here. 10 o'clock is this candle right here. We are above that level that's right here. So I wanted to see a move on higher. So to be able to get that move on higher, I wanted to see a bearish fair value gap disrespected and bullish fair value gaps being respected. So the only one that I saw was this 1 minute bullish fair value gap right there. So I wanted to see if price was going to tap into it and then move on higher. The only thing that I saw that kind of made me want to go short was the fact that we did get this low, sweeping out that, coming on higher, creating that market structure shift. We are retracing back into a discount area. So from here, all right, I should have expected price to come and take out that high, create a newer high. But if you take a look, what do we see? We have a failure swing high. It failed to make that new high. That was my first clue right here. The fact that we started to move back on down and not even trying to hit this high or even this candle's high. That showed weakness to go higher, okay? That was weakness to go higher to me. Now, price comes down. We see this big candle of displacement below that low, creating a market structure shift. And at the same time, this is the 1 minute, Kwani. This is the 1 minute. At the same time, taking out this bullish fair value gap that would have held as support. We had a very small close below that. So I waited just a little bit more. I wanted to see how this candle was going to start forming. Once we just started to displace a lot stronger below, I figured, yeah, we're going to go down at this point. It is Q4 of the micro session cycles. We tend to have a pretty drastic move within Q4 if it didn't happen in Q3. So because we were getting this massive move down, I market ordered in once the candle was around this area. That is where my entry is. I put my stop above that swing high. Why here? Because if price is going to continue moving down, let's say it takes out that low and it starts to retrace, I don't want to see price revisit this area because we have a high, a low, a lower high, and this would have been creating a lower low. So there's no reason for price to come back up over here. There's no reason if it does want to continue moving lower. So because of the fact that we had that inversion fair value gap right there, support became resistance. I decided to market order it in, put my stop above that high, and I targeted areas of liquidity where I could take profit. My first take profit, yes, Hidden Virtues, that was the trade that I took today. My first take profit was the London session low. As you can see, we consolidated a bit here. Now, if you remember my original game plan that I said, I was expecting price to move down into this 4 hour fair value gap and then continue to move higher because we are bullish on the higher time frame. So my last take profit was right here where my runner got hit, and it was a great day. Man, the profits were amazing if you caught that short. And that's when I called it a day, and price continued to move more and more and more down. So unfortunately, I did not get this entire drop. I don't know of many people who actually did. I think we all were caught kind of by surprise. Hidden Virtues, I'm sorry to hear that you don't seem to understand ICT. Look, it takes time. Okay, was good, right? You that dumped past two of your two fundeds. Nice. Oh, I passed your second funded. Nice, that's amazing. Good job. Was good, Armand. So Hidden Virtues, yeah, I mean, look, it took me a while. I've been trading ICT concepts for about 2.5 years now, and I've been consistently profitable with it about 1 year and like 3 months. It took me time, and I think the thing that really helped me out with it was to realize that the simpler it is, your trading model, the better. All right, I do not use all of the concepts in my trading model. I don't. The concepts that I use are mainly market structure, the draw on liquidity, fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps, and time. Those are the only 4 things. Now, if you want to see how I do that, then go ahead, check out my YouTube channel. I post my trade recaps on there. They're very detailed. Go on the link in my bio. You'll find my YouTube channel there. I go through everything that I look at every single day, reviewing what I missed, what I took, and where I was wrong. And all of that's available to you for free. So you can go ahead and check out my YouTube. That's all there. Thank you, Mr. Brenda, for the 1K likes. I appreciate that. Liam, the indicator name is quarterly cycles. This one right here, that is the only indicator that I have on the chart. That's just really just marking out the time cycles. If you want to know the settings that I have for it, check out the link in my bio. I have a YouTube video on how I set all of that up. All of that's there too. If you guys want to replicate the chart settings I have, that's all there for you too. So hidden virtues, if you find that you are understanding but just need that a little bit of a more one-on-one feel, I do offer one-on-one sessions. That's also found in the link in my bio. If you are curious about that, you can go ahead and check that out. And that goes to everybody here. Let's see. What's up, Ethereal? You played the Delta earnings, Jay. Do you see it moving one way or another in the morning? Let's take a look at it. What is the ticker for it? What is the ticker? Delta Airlines. There we go. DAL. Let's take a look at the daily here. Well, what did earnings do? Did it drop it? It didn't even do anything. Honestly, Delta here looks extremely bullish to me. It could come down, find some support in this area, especially because we have this level right there. On top of that fair value gap, I do think that Delta could come down, find support in some way there. Let's take a look at the daily again. The only thing I don't like is it did not secure above this high. All right, that could be a sweep to come up here, take out anybody who has their buy orders in there, or people who entered in calls or longs or whatever. And then it could continue to come back down. And now, like I said, it needs to find some sort of support in this area. So we could get some kind of retracement here to move higher. What's up, Mamba Calls? What is up? What is up, Kobe? Glad to have you part of the live, man. Yeah, so guys, if you have any tickers you want me to take a look at, anything, any questions you may have in terms of trading, my journey, anything, all of that is for you guys here. I will be gladly answering any and all questions. QQQ, all right, yeah, we can take a look at QQQ. So for QQQ, I trade futures. So NASDAQ is the equivalent, the NASDAQ MNQ for futures is the equivalent of QQQ. Yeah, there you go, NQ. Perfect. Millie, thank you so much for that follow. All right, as we know, we had that big drop on down. This is an interesting area for price because we came down and stopped at these levels right here of liquidity, failing to just displace through it, right, to continue moving lower. I think we might get some kind of retracement here back on up. Now we could, so remember, whenever a fair value gap gets invalidated, so this fair value gap should act as support, but when support gets broken, it can turn into resistance. Price can move back up into this area and then continue rejecting lower. I think for NASDAQ, we are looking to target this 195.50 level. So I think we're going to come down to the Wednesday 2 a.m. high or low, sorry. Bouncing off of this, taking out that low, and then continue to move higher. Especially because if we take this swing low here and this swing high right there, this area is in discount, and this fair value gap here does sit in the optimal trade entry zone where we could find some kind of support to move higher. There are lots of areas of support that could support price, right? We have fair value gaps, we have order blocks in this area where we could see a bounce to go on higher. Bitcoin going to the moon, look at the daily. Sure, let's take a look at that. Emra, yeah, I can also analyze stocks for you if you'd like in terms of the perspective of the strategy that I use. I can definitely do that. So feel free to drop those tickers in the chat. Let's see, Bitcoin, not futures, this is crypto. Let's use the Coinbase one. Going to the moon, perhaps. This does look nice. All All right, I'll take a look at SPY. I'm pretty sure it'll probably have the same kind of story as NASDAQ, but we'll see. Yeah, Bitcoin is ridiculously bullish right now. I think the target for it is 70,000. I have that marked out. Let's mark that out as the draw on liquidity. Somebody asked about that before. I must have seen something here, right? Yeah, there was something here that I saw before that could have held us up. Emra, thank you so much for the follow. Yep. Bitcoin does look bullish, especially because we are finding support in these fair value gaps here. Price comes down, not invalidating it, continue to move higher. Taking a look at the 1 hour chart as well. I want to see strong displacement above that high right there. I want to see a very strong 1 hour candle push above that. If we don't get that, we could start to get some kind of retracement, taking out that low and potentially these lows right here. Okay, price will come down, take these out to then continue moving higher. But yes, Bitcoin, it does look bullish to me. All right, so you said SPY. Let's take a look at MES. What would you be looking on for tomorrow on NQ? 15-minute shorts or long? Why? You're just curious. All right, I'll take a look at that in a bit. Let me take a look at the S&P here. All right, daily, I see this daily fair value gap where we could potentially tap into it, which would align to what I'm looking for on NASDAQ to take out that low to then move higher. I think we are at all-time highs with the S&P. Yeah, we are in all-time highs. So there will have to be some kind of rebalance eventually if we continue to go higher, right? Stocks don't only go in one direction. They do come back down to take profit and then continue finding support to go higher. Let's take a look at the 4 hour chart. 4 hour, we see that turnaround here. We broke those levels of support with these fair value gaps right here. So now they are turned into inversions where price could find rejection here. We are also sitting within this 4 hour fair value gap, but I would see that this one would probably hold price down here. So we could get something like this on the S&P, a move on up into this area, find some level of resistance here to then move lower and potentially take out that low right there, and then continue to create structure like this to move higher. All right, that's what I think could happen. So I am bearish here. Yeah, it could come down to this low. Now, NASDAQ is very close to this low. So sometimes NASDAQ does take a low and the S&P doesn't. And that is what is considered in the ICT world as S&T. I don't use S&T. I'm not constantly looking for S&T. Nubs, thank you so much for the follow. So I think this is what could happen. This is a very plausible scenario. London could manipulate us higher, the London session, and then for New York, we could move lower. Do we have news tomorrow? Because that usually is the catalyst that drives price down or up very aggressively in the pre-market, and then New York will give us the continuation of that. Let's take a look here. No, there's no news tomorrow either. This week is very light in news. So, like Armand said, he wouldn't trade tomorrow. Some people choose not to, right? It's definitely wonky price action. But honestly, yesterday and today's price action has surprised me without there being news. Or very light news. But yeah, I would say be very careful. You could go half size if you'd like, if you don't want to take on that higher risk. Like I said, you just want to preserve your capital too. Save it for the weeks that are higher probability where we have those big news drops. They tend to bring in more volatility and volume into the market, giving us better movements and better setups from what I've seen. All right, so Don, what am I thinking for tomorrow? Yeah, it's a similar story. Like I said for SPY, I move back on up into this area to then continue moving lower into this area of liquidity here, right there, and then potentially find something like this. Because 4 hour does look like it's retracing. I did in one of my YouTube videos, not today's recap, but yesterday's trade recap. I noted that here on the 4 hour time frame, we had accumulation and we did break out higher yesterday. And I said oftentimes we do get a accumulation, a manipulation move on higher and then distribute lower. That is what's called the power of three. I believe it's originally a Wyckoff theory. So we do get something like that, and then a move lower to target something like that. So I think, yes, we're going to move down lower here. What is good, AJI? My boy. I'm not on the treadmill. You're always working out, bro. I feel so self-conscious when I see your lives, man. You're always working out. I'm like, man, what am I doing here sitting on my couch just watching TikTok lives? Now, bank holidays usually move in one direction, and today was just balancing that range. That's right. Yeah, we're just retracing to balance all of this range here, right? There's a lot of imbalances left behind that we need to rebalance and then continue moving higher. Tomorrow's going to be terrible. We'll see, bro. We'll see. We'll take it bit by bit. I mean, if I don't see a setup, honestly, today I was kind of okay with walking away and not taking anything. Same thing on Monday. I waited longer than usual. I think both trades were after 10 o'clock. Usually I try to get my trade in between 9:45 and 10. But lately I have been having to be more patient and waiting until like after 10:30, sometimes 11, to enter a setup that looks good to me. Because it seems like within the first hour there are a lot of fake outs happening and just not enough market structure for me to really understand what direction should I be trading in for that day. So I account for both scenarios. Like, I want to see price do ABC to enter long and then XYZ to go short. So I have those two scenarios every single morning. How long have I been trading and am I profitable? Don, I've been trading for about 4.5 years, somewhere around there. And I've been consistently profitable for a year and like 3 months of that. Now, don't base your journey on my timeline. I think a lot of that came with the fact that in the beginning, I was very money hungry and I just wanted to make back my losses that I had. So I was strategy hopping like crazy, okay? And so because of that, I didn't stick to one strategy and truly learn it the best that I could. I just wanted to get like the next shiny object that this is that 100% indicator that's going to give me returns like through the roof type of deal. So that really slowed down my journey to profitability. So, you know, take that as you may, but I would say, you know, focus on what you're doing, have a system, learn it well, and it should pay off. Because I know many profitable day traders that use many different strategies. I know profitable supply and demand traders. I know profitable support and resistance traders. One of them is actually in this chat, Mamba Calls. Amazing dude. That guy is an animal at reading price action, and he doesn't even trade ICT, right? So there's so many ways you can read the market. I know people who use trend lines. I know people who use EMAs. Like, all of that works. It works. It depends on the person. What do I use to trade? Sizzy, what do you mean? Like, what broker? I use Tradeovate. That is, I trade futures, and so I use Tradeovate as the broker. I know Webull also offers futures. I do have a personal Webull account for my futures. Usually I use that to swing trade some things overnight. Yeah, I'm mostly focusing on prop firms. I use Apex. They are the ones that I am funded with. I use Tradeovate on them. Yeah, TopStep is another company. You could definitely use them. Another one that you can look into is My Funded Futures. I just got funded with them. But I've been with Apex for almost a year and a half. So they've been giving me problems, but they've finally denied a payout for me, but it's just some weird reason. I don't understand why, but that's neither here or there. So what kind of strategy are we looking at here? I'm kind of confused what I see. Nassim, so I use ICT Concepts, which is essentially a strategy to read price action. And I'm looking at these gaps right here. These fair value gaps are what I call them. They're areas where price has moved so drastically where price could come back into and find either support, like in this instance, or it can come into something like this to reject off of it. And so with that, I'm using those as areas of interest on a higher time frame to then drop down into the lower time frame to find the same kind of order flow. So if I'm looking for price to be bullish here, but then on the 1 minute it is bearish, I wait to see some kind of bullish action within here to then enter in that market and then, you know, ride that wave on up. That's essentially at a high level how I'm trading this. Koi, everyone's saying December is slow. Thoughts? I mean, it's I feel like that's so up to you and your opinion on what you think is slow. I remember last year, December was really great for me. You know, I didn't think it was that slow. I thought it was awesome. So it's relative to the person and what you think. Just keep trading how you trade. You know, have your trade plan every single day, stick to it, and you should be good. Should you get NVIDIA? Let's take a look at NVIDIA. It's been a minute since I've seen it. Let's take a look here at the weekly chart. Yeah, look at that. I think this is where I had it like that. Yeah, I was expecting price to move higher, and then the draw on liquidity was going to be there. And as you can see, yeah, we tapped right into that. I love looking back at these tickers after someone's asked me, and I keep the drawings there just to see if, you know, my price action reading skills are still on point. So because of this, I do think that we're going to maybe move on up to the all-time high area. But let's take a look at the daily. We could be getting some kind of retracement here, especially with NASDAQ dropping the way it did. I think, yeah, we could find some support down here. So if you want to buy NVIDIA now, totally up to you. You could definitely dollar cost average, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you buy right now and you're going to get so much returns. Because number one, I'm not a financial advisor. Number two, I don't swing trade. I'm just giving my opinion on what the chart looks like, and you can take that how you'd like. Paradise Capital is legit, and they pay out. That sounds probably like a Forex broker. I don't trade Forex. I don't like Forex that much because of, number one, they're unregulated. None of them are US based, and the spreads are abysmal on Forex. If you're going to trade indices on Forex, get off of Forex and just trade futures, honestly. If you're going to trade gold on Forex, get off of Forex and trade it on futures. But if you're going to actually trade like USD GBP or GBP JPY, all of those currency pairs, then yeah, go ahead, stick to Forex. Let's see. Please go to a lower time frame and suggest some sell entries to look for the day. Yeah, so let's go back to NASDAQ. So the lower time frame for me that I use for entries is the 1 minute time frame, and the entry that I got was all the way up here. I was looking to see originally for price to continue higher, and so as you can see here, we have this low, this high, and it retraced down to that low. I wanted to see price move higher above this to create that bullish market structure, right? Higher lows, higher highs. But because we failed to create that higher high, and then this was the only area where we could have had some kind of level of support. So let me zoom in on that. Let me take off the auto adjustment there. This right here, let me take off all the drawings too, because it's definitely a lot to see. A very small fair value gap right here, okay? That was the last area of support for price. If price moves high, higher low, lower high, and if it was going to create a lower low, invalidating this support for price, then I was going to enter in short, which as you can see, that is exactly what I did. My entry was a little bit later because I just wanted to make sure and see what price was going to do. And yeah, so once we got that close, or once we got a push here, I entered in short, put my stop above that high, and I targeted areas of liquidity below. I did not expect price to move this low. All right, I'll be completely honest. I did not expect that to happen. What did I just delete? I'm gonna take that off. Nope, that's not what I want to take off. I want to take off this blue zone because I didn't have those originally. All right, Mamba, thank you so much for being on the stream. I appreciate your support always, bro. Thank you. All right, so then later in the day, let's say you missed this, okay? Let's say you missed this huge drop. Would you be looking for longs in this area? No. No, I know so many people that were, and I will tell you exactly why I did not. All right, I don't trade in the PM session. I don't put actual money into the market. I tape read it only, meaning I only look at it, and I'm not taking any actual trades on it. And these were the two trades that could have been taken according to the way how I trade my strategy. All right. So the reason why I would not have gone long in this area, number one, let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. We've got this low, creates a high, boom, creates a huge market structure shift. But look at this. we have this low right here, price starts to move so aggressively down below it. Okay, now yeah, some people will think, oh, that's going to be a liquidity sweep and then we're going to move higher. Well, wait, look at this liquidity sweep and look at the fair value gaps on the left. Okay, look to the left of it. Are there any areas that price could support us? All right, ideally what you want in order to feel a high confidence on a sweep is that it sweeps a low and it moves into like a 15-minute fair value gap, a 1 hour fair value gap, or a 4 hour fair value gap, and that those fair value gaps are held. You do not want to see that fair value gap get broken, because if it gets broken, then it may not be a sweep. All right, here is that 15-minute fair value gap that should have technically held us in price, right? Body candles are still closing within it. We move far away from it, right? Okay, here is this level of sell side liquidity right there. What does price do? Price moves very strongly down. What's up, Divine? Price moves very strongly down, taking out that low, sweeping it, right? Quote unquote, sweeping it. Now, after that sweep, what do you want to see? You want to see something that is supposed to hold price down continuously, like this bearish fair value gap right there. You want to see a 15-minute candle close above that to further confirm, okay, it is a sweep. You want this blue fair value gap here to get held, and then you want this one right here to get invalidated. If you get that, then you have full confidence to go long. That's the way I trade, all right? That's the way I see it. But because we come down and then price chops around, and then guess what? Look at this 15-minute candle right here. Closes below that area of that fair value gap. This fair value gap is no longer going to hold us up. It's not. It's just not. This candle closed at 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock, you think, all right, we didn't hit that. We have another area of liquidity right there. We have a swing low there, and we have another swing low here. When people were saying that they're going to go long, I was like, no, we're going to hit these levels. We're going to hit 313.25 and 301.25. Why? Well, no bearish fair value gap got invalidated, and a bullish fair value gap got invalidated. So what does that mean? We have bearish order flow. Price still wants to go lower. Where? Pockets of liquidity. Right there. Right there. So after 12 o'clock, you look for short entries. Now, the way I trade, okay, after 12 o'clock, I'm not just going to look for a short entry right after 12 o'clock. I wait for time to align with it. All right, after 12 o'clock, here's that first trade. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. I use these quarters as pockets of time where I will find setups that are high probability. I do not take trades in Q1. That is considered the accumulation cycles, okay? I don't take those. I wait to see that manipulation cycle, which is Q2. If I'm looking for a bearish setup, I want to see that manipulate above a previous high. What do we get? A move on up, taking out that high, and we invalidate that fair value gap right there with this candle closure. You enter in short right there, stop above that high, target those pockets of liquidity, TP1, TP2. You're in this trade for quite some time, of course, and then boom, hits it. Now, second trade, if you didn't come until after 2 o'clock, all right, you're looking for, if you are bearish still, there are many bullish fair value gaps here that get invalidated. And then guess what? Look at the lower highs. Lower highs, stops would not have gotten hit on these. All right, you could have entered here somewhere. There's a bullish fair value gap that gets invalidated. Here's another bullish fair value gap that gets invalidated. Here's another bullish fair value gap that gets invalidated. All right, if you keep seeing this bearish sentiment, then it's going to drop. It's going to drop. If all of these timelines, all these time frames are aligning with bearish sentiment, they will drop. Now, the other one that I saw here was in Q4. If you remember what I said in the beginning of the stream, and if you weren't here, Q4 tends to give us a pretty drastic move if Q3 did not. And what do we see? Massive drop. Here is a 1 minute fair value gap. I came back to the chart after the fact to this one. Put your entry right there, stop above that high. Oh, guess what? Here's another one. Put your entry right here, stop above that high. And it drops down into the area of liquidity. This one right here was a 1 to 3.85. This one right here was a 1 to 6. All right. You guys are asking, how do I put the queue times on the chart? Go ahead and click on the link in my bio, and I have a YouTube video on there that gives you all of the settings to my charts. I go over how to get this little watermark up here, and then also how to find them and the settings that I use for both of these. So that's also on there. Let's see. Let me go back up. I went through a whole rant there. That was for you, Jerry Ken. I hope you're still here. You were so hesitant today. You took a loss. You didn't take the short KL. Man, if you're hesitant, don't take the trade, bro. Don't take the trade. You want to start trading with this other dude, been trading for 6 years, and bro still has a job. Slurp, just because you have a job does not mean that you can't trade. Because guess what? I still have a 9-to-5 job. I still have one. I have no shame in saying that. I have a 9-to-5 job. Why? Number one, my job provides security with income, so that takes off the stress on my trading. All right, I'm not trading to live off of it. I'm trading to supplement what I already make, and that is what ICT talks about in his videos too. All right, I trade to supplement what I already make. Also, life insurance, not life insurance, medical insurance is very expensive. All right, so that's another reason why I also have a job, and I don't need to be sitting at the charts all day long. I have enough time on my hands to be able to have a 9-to-5 at the same time. I trade the first hour of market open, mostly. All right, latest that I'm on it is until 11:30. All right, so just because you've been trading for 6 years and you still have a job does not mean that trading is not good. No, I've been trading for 4.5 years and I still have a 9-to-5 job, but I've been profitable for a year and some change with that. That's just adding on to what I already make. So don't let that stop you. Yes, Nassim, it's nice to have a stable income, right? Exactly like what he said. Or put 6 years of your life into something and you'd be surprised where you land. Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't take 6 years, maybe like 6 months to be honest. It's so easy in my opinion. Gamma, that is relative to the person. You can't say if you haven't made it by 6 months, then no, you can't say that. You can't say that either. You don't even know where to start on this candle chart, bro. No website or person actually teaches. So, Slurp, gonna add this in here. Guys, I am working on a mentorship, all right? An A to Z mentorship for people who know nothing about trading, are interested in it. I'm gonna go through how to read a candlestick chart, how to even get a broker, what does trading even mean, what is buy, sell, all of that stuff, okay? To then going deeper into what is my strategy? How do I trade? What are the hiccups that have gone in my career what are the things that I wish I knew when I started? All of that's going to be available in this mentorship. I'm still working on it. I hope to have it out by the end of this month. It's going to be live with me. And you know, I'm going to take you guys through it. It is going to come with a cost because it is time outside of my regular trading, but everything else that I have on my TikTok, my YouTube channel, that's all for free. You guys can also take a look at that if you have some knowledge and you just need to see like, okay, how does Koinonia do it? What does he look at? You can find that on my YouTube. My DMs are also open for one-off questions. I'm offering that mentorship right now live though. What I do have available are one-on-one coaching calls if you need help with just that little one-on-one extra help. All right, if you need me to look at something with you, if you need some advice on something, I've had a couple people go through it. They tell me good things about it. They say that they loved it. They learned a lot. I record the session too, so you can have it and play back as many times as you'd like. That's also available already. You can find that in my link tree. It's in my bio. But yeah, and apart from that, I do these lives twice a week. Try to at a minimum twice a week. Sometimes I do more. And feel free to ask questions in here too. Let's see. Now, how to look setups for today? I'm a good salesman, but that at being genuine, okay. I'm glad that you feel that way about me. That's totally fine. Literally the most humble trading guy I've ever met. Thank you, KL. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate your comment too. I for real feel my missing piece is getting a mentor. Once I can afford it, I'm a def get you as a mentor. Thank you, KL. Thank you. Futuros. I love that you call it that, man. It's my favorite name. I say it randomly. Is my name from Greek literature? Yes, that's exactly right. Zion Vieira. That is 100% where that name is from. Koinonia is the old ancient Greek term for fellowship within Christians in the early church. So, little history lesson and the reason why I have my name. I am a follower of Christ. All right, that is one of the biggest things in my life. And so I wanted to create a name that was close to the identity of what I wanted in trading. Okay, my entire trading career, I always felt alone. Every time I asked questions, people were rude. Nobody really wanted to help me. And just, it's very toxic. A lot of comparisons like, oh, if you're not making 6 bands, like, what are you even doing per trade? Like, come on, you suck. Like, that's not the kind of community that I've wanted. I wanted a welcoming community, an inviting one where people take each other by the hand and help each other out just for the sole purpose of helping people. And I figure that's kind of similar to how the church is meant to be. It is a place where we all come together to help each other out in life, to do life together. And so because of that, what was the name for it? Koinonia. In the ancient Greek term, it was koinonia. You can look up the definition. And I said, you know what? That's the kind of community that I want to harbor on TikTok, on anything like that. And so that is where the name came from. So let's see. Hold on one second. Let me answer this. Okay. Love it, bro. I love Jesus too. That's awesome, Zion. I love that. God first, always. Amen. Yo, I follow of Christ. Praise the Most High. Amen. So what is the draw on liquidity you looking for today? Thank you, Jerry. So the draw on liquidity that I had today was lower. But what I think right now, what we're going to see is here on the 1 hour time frame, I think we may come back up, find some kind of resistance up here to then target, what is it? This level right here. Right over here. All right, 163.75. That is what I think we're gonna hit. Why that level? Well, I think we are going to retrace into an area of discount. All right, so the optimal trade entry zone, or OTE, is in this area right here, from that swing low down here to the swing high up here. So I think we're going to come back and rebalance some of this price down into this level right here, take out that level of liquidity, hold this 4 hour for value gap to then continue moving higher, because on a higher time frame like the daily or the weekly, I am bullish. I think that is what is going to happen. Where are you from? I'm in KC. I live in the Northeast. I live in the New York tri-state area. Do you think you'll be giving out your plays and your paid content in addition to mentorship? No. I don't think I'm gonna do that paid. If I do that for the people in the mentorship, it'll just be additive, and that'll be probably just like a live session of just watching me trade. I will do that in the mentorship. That will be an addition at the end of teaching everything. I will go through about a week's worth of live trading with me, so you can see me use the concepts in real time, and then ask questions while we're trading. But going like long term, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that, because I wanna give you guys what you need to learn, and I don't want you to rely on me. Because for me, I did have a mentor, but like 5 months into it, I was like, you know what? I need to do this by myself. I can't keep relying on his analysis and think like, hey, I need him every day just to see if I'm seeing the same thing he does. No, eventually you're gonna have to leave the nest. And so I pushed myself out. I told him, thank you so much for everything. I canceled my membership to his mentorship, and I went off on my own. I did that about 1 year and 3 months ago, and well, I've been consistently profitable for 1 year and 3 months ago. Most times, you don't even know what you're capable of until you put yourself under the gun to really try it. That is something that one of my previous mentors, who was just in here before, said, and it resonates so much with me, because I was like, you know what? That is so true. That is so true. In my opinion, the ability to read price action well is the greatest edge a trader can have. Cameron, 100%. Yeah, reading price action is the big, and that's what I always say. Don't focus on the money. When it comes to trading, focus on learning how to read this, to know where price will go and the money will follow after. So, yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. How do I use quarterly theory? So the way I use it, just a really brief talk through about it, is I'm using them for pockets of time where I'm going to be entering my trades. I'm not usually going to be entering anything within the first 15 minutes of the market open because that is the manipulation cycle. I monitor between 9:45 to 10 just to see how that hourly and that 4-hour candle closes. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. From 9:45 to 10, I try to see where that 4-hour and that 1-hour candle closes, and if it aligns with the bias that I have, I will take my trade in here. If it is just a little wonky like it was today, I wait to see what Q4 brings. So if I take a trade in Q3 and I lose, I wait for Q4. So that's essentially how I'm using Motion. I trade NASDAQ futures. That is the only thing that I trade right now. And the only thing I foresee myself trading for a long time because I love the way NASDAQ moves. Will I continue to offer one-on-one meetings after my mentorship? It's a great question. I have to think about that. I'm also thinking about that. I did have that thought. I was like, maybe I should offer like 2 sessions included with it. But I don't know yet. I'll know more once the mentorship is completed. That's how you are currently. You already know. Trying to break away is such a difficult decision. Divine. So you know what you could do then is you can just close Discord during the trading day. Third Eye Fitness, thank you so much for the follow. Close your Discord. Close where you are getting, all of that from, and just make it you in the charts. That's what I did too. Turn off, put your phone on silence, and just focus on the charts for an hour and figure it out on your own. Yeah, you may lose. It happens, but try. That's all you got to do. How do I connect Tradevate to TradingView? So, George, on your Tradevate, on the Tradevate website, go log in. On the top right, you'll have like these like settings, and it'll be like application settings. On there, you have to look at the add-ons, and on the add-ons, it'll say TradingView connection somewhere around there. And then you can log into Tradevate. On the bottom of the screen on TradingView, there will be a trading panel, and then you look for Tradevate, and then you log in. So that is that. What is the indicator? How do you get the Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 indicator? How'd you get the quadrants? If you guys go to the link tree in my bio, so go into my profile, go to my bio on the link tree. I have a video there on how to get the exact same layout for TradingView. And in that, I include how I get this indicator and the settings behind it. Also, this AGFX one, giving you this watermark on your charts if you're curious about getting that too. Force myself to get it done by myself. Yeah, exactly. Curious if you trade every day or less frequently, a few trades per week, for instance. And how long are you in your trades on average? Great questions, Cameron. So I do trade every day. I try to find something every day. I try to take at least 1 trade a day, just trying to figure it out, see what the trend is for the day. But max trades that I take in a day is 2. All right, if my first trade wins, then I call it there. I don't take anything else. If my first trade loses, I give myself 1 more opportunity, and then if that one wins or loses, that's it. That's my last trade. I take two a day. On average, how long I'm in trades? It really depends. It really depends on the price action that day, where I got in. Sometimes my trades can be as fast as, I think my fastest trade was like a minute. Like I literally got in and went straight to TP, and there was no news. It just went straight to TP. Or I've had trades where it hits my first take profit, but my runner is in the trade for like 5 hours. I think I got in at 9:55 and I didn't close it until, it didn't hit the take profit until 2:30 in the afternoon that day. So that can happen too. So if you guys want to see some of those trades, you can find them on my Instagram. The Instagram on my profile, there is a little, I don't know how you call it, highlights, and it says W trades. If you click on them, you'll see those runners. They're insane. They're pretty long, like they're very big wins that they were happening more often about a couple months ago, but because price action got a little wonky during August, September, I'm a little more conservative now, but I think I might start holding runners longer too again. So with my strat, I never trade before 10 a.m. I don't trade before 9:45. I do trade between 9:45 and 10, but most times now it is after 10. It just ends up being that way. But before, when price action was a lot cleaner and faster in delivery, I was taking most of my trades after 9:45, before 10. What if your first trade you win isn't that much? Do you take a second one or not to avoid over trading? I don't take a second one if my first one wins, whether it's a lot or not. If it breaks even, then yes, maybe I take something else. But on average, I try to target at least a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So it's relatively the same. Close. My winning days are pretty close in terms of how much profit I make. And how much do I risk on any given trade? 1% or 2% of the total account size, for instance. So the most I risk per trade is 0.5% because of my 2 trade rule. The most I want to lose on a day is 1%. And then because I'm risking 0.5%, I try to target a 1 to 1.5 to at least a 1 to 2. So if not waiting for a 1 hour FEG to break and close above or below, you will enter before. Yes, exactly, Kyle. If we got that confirmation beforehand, then I will enter in after 9:45. But sometimes, lately it's been that I have to wait till 10. It's in relation to how much I'm putting into the trade, in the sense of where your stop loss is and where your take profit is. So this trade right here, let me make this smaller so we could see it. Right here. Okay. So the drawing tool on TradingView will give you what the risk to reward is. And essentially what it's saying is however much you're going to risk, how many pieces of this are you going to be making in profit. So if it is a 1 to 2 risk to reward, like it is right here, okay, the risk to reward is 2. It's saying that if I risked $100, right, because my stop loss is right here, I'm risking $100 in this trade to potentially make double it, $200. That's a 1 to 2 risk to reward. If it's a 1 to 1 risk to reward, so if my take profit is here, okay, that means I'm risking $100 to only make $100. My stop loss size and my take profit size are exactly the same. So today's trade itself was a 2.9 for me. So if I risked $100, I was going to make $290. There you go. You got it. That's what the risk to reward ratio means. It's just how much you're willing to risk to how much you're going to potentially make. Good question. Good question. I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad. So you look for a minimum 3 to 1 with the extension to 4 to 1 or 5 to 1 depending on the price action. That's awesome, Cameron. That's great. So you're probably not taking as many trades in the week. You might not take a trade every day then. I mean, you could. It depends on your strategy. I mean, I don't know what your strategy is, so I'm just curious though. Do you take a trade every day too? Only a handful per week. Yeah, I mean, and that's fine too. Your hit rate must be insane. Awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, for everyone who's still on the live, everyone who's just joining, I mean, thank you so much for being here. Ask any and all questions that you guys may have in terms of trading. Like I said in the beginning, I go live to be able to just break down any tickers you might want me to analyze for you. Any questions in relation to ICT concepts, if that is the strategy that you trade? Raymo, there he is. You take 1 trade per year for a 1 to 2 risk to reward. W, man. You full port that 50K account and then you make your 100,000 for the year. Honestly, that would be insanely awesome. Could you imagine? You just take 1 trade and you make 100K and you're done for the year. Are you able to open an account with $100? You can on futures, but you're not able to take a trade. You could do $200 though, and you'll be able to trade SPY futures. You'll be able to trade 1 contract on SPY futures. Oops, just tapped my keyboard by accident. Let me just reset that. There we go. I imagine you're stacking up smaller profits more frequently, while my winning trades are larger but harder to come by. Yeah, I mean, I tend to take about a 1 to 2 every day that I can. So yeah, I guess you could say smaller profits but more frequently, and then you're just taking that 1. And so, yeah. You've been paper trading for months and you want to dabble in the sauce. That's cool. I like trading futures compared to stocks and cryptos anyway. Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely better than trading stocks because on futures, it's instant cash settlement. So you don't have to wait for the next day to be able to trade your funds again if you're on a cash account. And there is also no pattern day trading rule. So you can take as many trades in a day as you want as long as you have the margin to do so. And the margin meaning your account balance. You need to have, so like for example, on an S&P future micro contract, you need to have at least $100 in your, or no, sorry, you need to have at least $50. I think I don't remember the exact margin because I don't trade it. I think it's like $50 or $60 in the account, the duration of the trade. So if you have 1 contract active in a position, you need to have, right, okay, 50. You need to have $50 maintained as your balance through the duration of the trade. So that's why I said do 200, so you kind of have that buffer. And then for NASDAQ, one of them is $100. All right, that's the margin. And so however many times that however many contracts you have, you multiply that margin by that. So if you take 2 micro SPY, I'm saying SPY, S&P contracts, you need at least $100 during the duration of the trade. How do I use quarterly theory? I went through that. There are just pockets of times when I'm taking a trade. I'm not using it in any other way. You can also check out my YouTube channel. That gives you the breakdown of how I'm using it too. For sure, Sebastian. So yeah, guys, yeah, like I said, ask any and all questions that you want here. I'll go through your question in a little bit. Yes, there's no pattern day trading rule for futures trading. Thank you, man. Yeah, so the YouTube is in the link in my bio. So click on my profile, go to the link in my bio. You'll find my YouTube. You'll find my Instagram, my Twitter account, my TikTok account, of course. And then you'll also see other links there, like if you want to copy the same settings that I have on my chart, you can go ahead and click on that YouTube video there too. And then I also go through, I also have full trade breakdowns on my YouTube channel, so that's there too. Gives you more in-depth rather than the ones that are here on TikTok. They're about a minute long on TikTok, very short. So on my Linktree as well, I offer one-on-one coaching calls for anyone who's interested. If, for example, today you could not find a reason why to go short and you find yourself consistently getting the wrong bias, book a call with me. Let's figure that out together. Let's figure out why that's going wrong. If you keep cutting your trades short and you need help figuring out how to hold on longer, how to have more conviction to stay within the trade, book a call with me. We can go through that. Those are the types of things that I've helped people with, and they have had good results after our conversation. And I record the call so you can always have it for reference. And that's always going to be available to you. So yeah, we can talk about anything, trading psychology, strategy, any questions you may have for me in terms of my trading career, whatever it is. That hour is for you, and it is to be used however you want. So you can come prepared with whatever, or you can just have it as an open conversation with me. But I love doing those calls. It is great. Jason, awesome. I'll be looking forward to you. booking that call with me. And then, yeah, like I said, my DMs are open for one-off questions too. These TikTok lives are here too for any one-off questions you may have that I can quickly go through. You're wondering why I don't aim for a larger risk to reward. So Cameron, I used to back in like June and July, but once August hit, then the price action wasn't really giving to be able to fit my strategy. It wasn't giving that much of a move. So I've become a little more conservative, just adapting to the market. But I've noticed the last couple of days, you know, the market has been giving more. So initially, like before, I would try to hit trades like this, like a 1 to 7. And if you go to my Instagram, you can check that out. You'll see I have stories that I have archived on the W Trades highlight. You'll see those runners hit like 1,000+ ticks. I think my record was 2,000 ticks. I don't know if I have it on there, but that was my record in how long I held the position. Not fully, but on runners though. So that one contract on NASDAQ mini, on a mini or a micro NASDAQ, paid me $1,000. Right, exactly. So I adapted to what the market's offering. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so now, obviously, now that it seems like it's giving a little more in terms of what price is delivering, you know, I may adjust here and there. Sam, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. So, yeah. Is there a method to choosing brokers or different kinds of brokers? I've heard Interactive are the best, but I don't know if that's a thing or if it's even credible. I advocate for Trade-Ovate. Trade-Ovate is the best broker I've seen, that I've used, and I've gone through a couple of them. I've done TradeStation, I've done Webull, I've done Trade-Ovate, and I've seen people use AMP before, and I've asked friends about it, but honestly, I still gravitate towards Trade-Ovate because, number one, their margin requirements are discounted, so it's a lot easier to be able to trade more. Here, I'll type it in the chat for you. So Tradovate, Trade-Ovate, but it's pronounced Trade-Ovate. So that's that. And yeah, no interest in commodities, gold or crude oil. I mean, I used to swing it overnight, Cameron, but I haven't taken a look at it because once gold hit all-time highs, I was kind of like, I don't want to keep trading that. I'm mainly focused on NASDAQ, but I've been curious about looking back into it. I've heard people saying like it's been moving well. So I've traded it before, but I stopped. Thoughts on options? Yeah, I think if you can become profitable on it, great. For example, myself, I didn't like options. And the reason why is because sometimes my trades, like when I enter in, I may have entered in here and like this chop right there eats up the theta and the what's it called, the volatility within the options contract, so you're losing value. And so I prefer to just have futures where if it comes back, like comes up, comes down, and comes back up, and it's back to my entry point, I'm still at break even. So there's no Greeks on futures. That's why I prefer futures. But options is still cool. You could definitely use it. I know a lot of good options traders. They make a killing on it, and it's awesome. But it's just not for me. I don't hold NQ overnight. No, I do not. How much do you need to trade gold on Trade-Ovate? Let me double check. Let me look that up for you real quick. Trade-Ovate. So if you go to Google and if you just look up Trade-Ovate margin requirements, and then it should be tradeovate.com/margin, I believe. It'll be like the second thing that comes up under the sponsored link. And then if you go down and you look up for MGC, let me see, where is that? MGC. There's crude oil. Here we go. Micro gold, you need $200 per contract to day trade it. If you're gonna hold one overnight, it's 1,210. That's how much margin you need. But you need to have $200, the duration of the trade, for one contract of micro gold. TF, so a couple of things that made me want to go short. The first one was the fact that on the 4-hour time frame, this was looking like accumulation and then manipulation higher to me. So I was expecting a distribution move back down. On the 1-hour time frame, I wanted to see here that we did have a bearish 1-hour fair value gap. And if we got a one hour close above it, I was going to target higher. But after 10 o'clock, when we did get that 1-hour close above that level, we see that price created a low, a high, a higher low. So that looked good for now. And I wanted to see price continue to displace above that high to continue the market structure. But because we failed to, and then we did not find support in this 1 minute bullish fair value gap, we actually inverted that. That was more than enough reason for me to think, okay, we're going to move lower and it's going to rebalance price. So it's probably seeking lower liquidity on swing lows and the 4-hour fair value gaps that were down here. Now, I did not expect it to move this much down, but hey, I'll take a 2.9 risk to reward any day. Great questions tonight, guys. I really love it. I love when you guys ask these many questions. It's awesome. Okay, awesome. That's awesome that you understood. I'm glad. And you can find those breakdowns on my YouTube. Go check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of trade breakdowns there for the daily trades that I take, whether I win or lose or I end up break even. This is the 1 minute time frame, Connor. Also curious if I do monthly withdrawals. So I trade prop firms, and yes, I do have monthly withdrawals with them. I say them as if I have multiple. I only use Apex. So yeah, I have monthly withdrawals from it. Do I have a Discord? You've been wanting to learn more. I do not have a Discord. Not one where I teach or anything like that. I have one for friends and people that I meet online that are cool for it. So it's kind of like a tight-knit community of traders with like-minded mindsets. But if you're interested, I just want to get to know you a little bit more. So you can go ahead and DM me, give me a little story about your trading journey, and I'll see if you'll be able to be a good fit. But you know, we like to joke around in the Discord, but when it's market hours, we are serious and we talk about, you know, what we're seeing and everything. So you feel like a sponge absorbing everything you hear. You're one of the first traders on here that makes genuine sense. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I love to hear those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, I want to be as transparent as possible and as honest as I can be. What does Q1 to Q4 mean? Those are pockets of time. So price tends to move in a specific manner within each one. And so I'm looking within those pockets of time to find a trade setup to enter in on the trade. So today I waited for Q4. I wanted to see how price was going to move within it. I mean, I expected price to move drastically in Q4 just because of how it moved within the first three quarters. Kind of like kill zones. I would say more so like macros. More so like macros. What are the cons and pros of a funded account? So one of the pros is that yes, you can trade with a larger sized account, and it's low barrier to entry, so it's only like $20 or $30 for a 50K eval. If you pass that, great. You pay $150 for the funding fee, and then you've only put in about $200 or less than $200 to trade a $50,000 account. All right, so you're able to get more money out of that, rather than if you put that money into a trading account, a personal one, it'll take a little bit longer to be able to make the gains that you're making on the 50K. It's one of the pros. The cons is that you do have, they're kind of designed to make sure that you don't pass in the sense of the rules, right? There are different rules with like, if you're dollar cost averaging, there's a trailing drawdown. So whatever the price is in your, or whatever the balance is, the highest balance you've had throughout any trade, they follow you by 2,500 on a 50K account. So you can't go below that threshold. So it's constantly following you. You can't have massive day, like a $1,000 day. And then, and then you can't like make only $200 because then they'll deny you a payout. So there's a bunch of stipulations and rules behind all of it. But so for a first, should I go for a funded or a personal? I'm very strong on doing things myself. Honestly, you could go funded. It's totally fine. If you want to get an Apex account, you can go in the link in my bio, and I have it directly signing you up to a 50k one. Like, it'll take you right to the one that I use for Tradeovate, because there's 2 different kinds that they offer on Apex. They offer a Ninja Trader and a Tradeovate one, but people tend to get confused on the website. It does seem a little confusing, so you can just go ahead on my bio and click the link that says the 50k funded one for Apex. There's also a My Funded Futures one, but those are more expensive. They're $80, but there's no funding fee. But if you're just starting out, I would recommend Apex because they're so cheap. I wasn't profitable for your first 3 years as well, wondering what made you keep going. Personally, you always believed, but you have those days where things seem very bleak. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was that, you know, I had been praying so much for it that I really wanted it to work out. And my thinking behind it was that I wanted to become profitable because I wanted to leave my 9-to-5 and be able to devote myself to my faith and just really focus on the kingdom of God, right? If I could have that freedom of time to do that and focus on my family and friends, and really focusing on the things that matter in life, that's what I see trading as. And so that's really what's kept me going. And it was a lot of ups and downs, I will say, like lots of losses. I cried, I'm not gonna lie. There were points in time where I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. I'm going to quit. I took months off sometimes. I would take weeks off at a time, and it was just a lot of ups and downs. But you got to find a group of people who will believe in you, and I have found a couple friends online like that, and of course I have family members who have helped me out too, and just constantly pushing me through it to say, like, look, we're here for you, we know you got this, you're a smart guy, don't give up. Even when I didn't feel like I could do it. But you know, that was really what kept me going. What does Midnight Open show you? So for me, Midnight Open, I kind of find it to be an area where price will want to gravitate towards. So like if you're bullish, price may come down to Midnight Open to be able to sweep something below that to then continue going higher. Other times it could be a price target of some sort. I use it as a price target. Another tidbit, and this is something that I learned from someone online. If price between 2 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. does not touch Midnight Open, there's about a 78% chance that after 9:30 we will retrace back to Midnight Open before 11:30. You can go ahead and back test that. There's data behind that, but that is something that is interesting to note. What's a Midnight Open? It is the price of NASDAQ at midnight. So like right here, whatever the price was of the opening candle at midnight, that is Midnight Open. So if you keep going to the right, you should be able to see Midnight Open somewhere here. I don't think it's on my chart, is it? Well, you'll see a previous one here. So what strategy do I trade the most often? The only one that I use, the trading model that I use, which is looking at market structure on a higher time frame, finding out the draw and liquidity, and then finding the order flow to align across lower time frames and higher time frames. You can find it on my YouTube. I give you guys full breakdowns on there too, giving you everything that I look at. To enter trade, you look at price and volume. I don't look at volume, just solely price and time. What's this indicator? It is the quarterly cycles indicator. If you want to know how to get that in the settings that I use, you can click the link in my bio that has a video on there that gives you everything. So the colors and the background and this little watermark and this quarterly cycle indicator, how to set that up. It's about like a 5-minute video. You can find that there. Eastern time zone, yes. I look at my charts only in Eastern time. Yes, I went through NVIDIA, but on NVIDIA I said I think we're going to get some kind of a pullback. Let me go back to the 4-hour time frame. I think we're going to get some kind of a pullback down here. to then continue going higher. Originally on the video, on the daily, I think I had it, or was it the weekly? On the weekly time frame, I was expecting price to come up into this draw on liquidity. So this was an old drawing from a previous live. I think it was 2 weeks ago, yeah. And I was expecting price to move higher to here, and we did get that last week. So that was awesome to see. So I do think it's gonna retrace a little bit, find some kind of support, and then move higher into all-time high. SPY, same thing. So SPY is MES1. I have the same thinking for SPY. I think SPY is going to come down, take out these equal lows right there, right over here, and then move back on up. Bitcoin, I'm super bullish. Super bullish on Bitcoin. How much did you make in a year? I don't really like to talk about how much I make because it kind of gives the wrong impression to people. They're going to be like, oh my God, I want to be able to make that much. And I don't want people to really focus on that. I know people have always wondered. So I do post my monthly P&L. I don't advertise it unless someone asks. You can find that on my Linktree. No, don't worry. You're good. Don't be sorry. You can find that on my Linktree. I show you guys what I made last month. It was not a great month. It's on the lower end, but it was still a profitable month, so I can't complain about that, right? But I show the red days, the green days, all of that on the funded accounts that I have, so you can find that there. What's my win rate? My win rate recently has been about a 65% to a 75%. Somewhere around there, 65 to 75, and I target about a 1 to 2 risk to reward. For SPY, it is the 10 o'clock low of October 10th. So 574.55. Yeah, somewhere around there, 574.55. That's awesome, Dar. You've been learning about trading for a year now and you finally became profitable using ICT. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. Very happy for you. I'm glad it took you a year. It took me, how many years? 3? It took me 3 years. But I've only been trading ICT for 2.5 years. I've been trading for 4.5 years. Alex, I trade NASDAQ futures. That is the only thing that I trade. I trade futures, but just NASDAQ, really. That's the only thing that I like to trade. Can you re-explain the midnight open analogy from what to look at from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m.? So it's something important to note, but if price has not moved, if price has not touched midnight open between 2 a.m. and 9:30 open, then there is about a 78% chance that it will retrace back to it before 11:30 that day. Yo, what's good, Joe Mama? You love the music? I'm glad. Thank you for that. Would you say it's the right route to go because you're still super indecisive? I mean, it's worked for me. It really depends on whoever you are, you know? It really depends on the type of person and trader that you are. Not every strategy will fit everybody. Yes, that's only if it hasn't touched midnight open between 2 a.m. and 9:30. So if it touches it within those times, then forget it. How far do I think it'll retrace? Down here to this level, 2163.75 potentially. All right, based off of what we see here. If we get any kind of, look, I could say one thing now, but as price continues to print, then you know, I could be given some more information that'll change my analysis completely. Can you share your best month you did P&L? W Live. I don't remember what month it was, but it was 3x what I made last month. I'm not making some crazy amounts, guys, though. I'm really not. What am I targeting on Bitcoin? I think I said 60,000. Is that what I said? Oh, not 60,000. What was the level? 70,000. I think 70,000. Do you think paper trading is the best way to start? Of course, 100%. But I think honestly the best way to really start is just analyzing the chart live and then writing down like, okay, this is where I would enter and then this is where I would exit. Don't even worry about contract sizes, all of that. No, just learn to understand the price action. Then once you've got a good understanding of it and you're able to actively and accurately say, okay, I think price is going to move here, it's going to do that, and then it does that, then you can start moving to paper trading and start taking trades. And then once you've got that down, then you can move into actual money. Do I trade options, Daniel? No, I do not. I used to, but I stopped. I trade futures now. You were in my live a while ago. Oh yeah, your name sounds familiar. Do I think a cash account is better than a margin account? Yes, if you're under 25,000. Yes. Yes, the way I analyze for options would be the same as futures, so I look at stock tickers the same exact way. Enough to live is all I want to make. And that's a great goal to hit, but make sure you still have other income on top of that, so that you're not putting all eggs in one basket, that you're not solely focused on like, I need to make this work because I want to be able to live off of that. The least amount of pressure you can put on yourself when it comes to trading, the better. Okay. Why did I change to futures 24 hours? Not because it's 24 hours, but because the way, number one, the way profit is calculated, there are no Greeks involved with futures. So if you enter in at whatever the price is right now, it moves back up and then it comes back to your entry, you're just at $0 profit. Whereas on options, you would be in the red if it did that. I didn't like that. And then the second big thing is that on futures, there's no pattern day trading rule and there is no cash settlement. So you can trade as many times as you want. You can take like 50 trades in a day. It's totally fine. There's commissions, obviously, so you don't want to do that. But you can do that. And then the third thing is if you trade a personal account on futures versus a personal account on options, it has a better tax benefit. So if you make $50,000 on options and profit and you make $50,000 on profit and futures, 100% of your profit on options, so the full 50,000 will be taxed as short-term capital gains, whereas on futures 60% of that 50,000 will be taxed as long-term capital gains, and the remaining 40% of it will be taxed as short-term capital gains. So you have a tax savings on that too. Those three main reasons are the reasons why I like futures. How did you get the Koinonia Trader at the top of your chart? It is a indicator, a GFX watermark. You can go ahead and click the link in my bio. I have a video on how I set that up. You can trade as much as you want with a cash account. You can, only as much as you have settled funds. There's no settlement on futures. It's instant settlement. So your account balance is the full balance every single time. Whereas on a cash account, if you use $200 of your account, you can't trade those $200 again until tomorrow. Reading strategies on candles first to learn when you want to enter or not. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it, Q. A margin account, you can have a margin account less than 25,000, Joe Mama, but you'll have a pattern day trading restriction if you are under 25,000. What about Forex? I don't know much about the taxes for Forex, but it's essentially the same thing, instant settlement, and there's leverage on Forex higher than futures, but the spreads are terrible on Forex. I don't like that. Thanks, what the hell, Sebastian, for answering that. I appreciate that. Is your trade a layout? I want black and gray candle bars. Yeah, go ahead and look at the YouTube video, man. It's on the link tree in my bio. I'll tell you there. I tell you how I got that. Yes, yeah, exactly, Future Scalper. You could use a prop firm with those $100 to be able to get a funded account, but I would say learn to trade first. That way you're not blowing money. You love the chart. Nice. Thank you. Realistically, can someone be 70% profitable for an entire month? What do you mean? What do you mean by 70% profitable? Like a 70% win rate? Yeah, of course. How much return for 10K? What do you mean by that? John Doe 9. Thank you so much, Viral Clips, for the heart me. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. You can. I mean, look, my win rate's like 65%. Sometimes it's 60%. But because I target a 1 to 2 risk to reward, my winners outweigh my losers, so I'm profitable. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for about 4.5 years now. I started February 2020. Right when the whole Doge craze started. Is 10,000 enough to start to be more profitable? So profitability would not be measured on how much money you start with. It is more so on your skill to be able to read the market. So don't think about how much money you need. You could be profitable making $20 a day consistently. That's profitable. In the same way that you can be making $2,000 a day. It's still profitable. You just really need to focus on the skill to be able to have that high win rate and high risk to reward in your trades. So focus on that. Focus on the skill of trading rather than the money. Willie, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Sorry for anyone else who's followed me and I haven't called you guys out. Sorry I missed what you said. How are you taxed on futures? So double check what I'm saying, but I believe it is of your total profits on futures, 60% of it is taxed as short-term or long-term capital gains, and 40% of it is taxed as short-term. But just double check me on that. Ask your accountant. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's right. It's about how consistently, not how much money you got. Exactly. Sebastian, you're hoping your skill meets your desires within a year? Of course. If you put your mind to it and you continue going, 100%. You could start with $1,000 and trade the MNQ or MES. Yeah, you can even start with $200, honestly, Jay. I've done it. I flipped accounts from 200 to 1,000 before. It's fun. Do I do any live trading? I used to on TikTok, but I stopped because it can be very toxic. It's annoying. Like, people think that if you live trade that you are never going to take a loss. And people are so mean and unforgiving. So I stopped. And then when you make a win, nobody really cares. So it affected my mental. And then on top of that, I don't want people watching me just to copy me. I want people to learn. So that's why I do this. This is why I do this instead. I do mostly these kinds of lives rather than live trading because I want you guys to learn, not just copy me. How much profit have I made? I don't really like to disclose how much I make in a year. That's personal. You have 3,500 in your cash account and you're opening a margin account so you can sell shorts. Go for it. If you have a plan, man, go for it. Jay, you did it and you got it to 10K. Nice work. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Thank you so much, Electric, for the follow. All right, it is getting late for me. Wow, it's already almost 11:30. Jeez. So I'm going to end the live like I always end it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. You can always check out my TikTok videos. They are very quick snippets of my trade recaps. They're about a minute long. But if you want a more in-depth breakdown, go ahead, check out the YouTube channel in my bio. There's my link tree for you to follow me on my other socials like my Instagram, my Twitter, of course my TikTok, and my YouTube channel. On the link tree, you'll find a couple of resources there that could help you out. I have a video on there on how to copy the exact settings of my chart, so you can use that if you want to if you like the layout, if you want to use it as well. I also offer one-on-one coaching calls if you are interested. If you guys need that extra help to understand, how do I get a daily bias? I'm wrong in that. How do I hold my trades longer? What can I do? All these things. It'll be a one-on-one, very you-centered conversation where I'm there to help you in whatever it is that you need. So that 1 hour is completely for you. You can find my calendar on there. It does come with a cost as well. But you don't need to do that. It's entirely up to you if you really want someone to help you out like that. I have been asked a lot about classes, teaching, mentorship, all of that. But if you, and I am working on that. I don't have that available just yet, but it is going to be like a beginner friendly one. Like I go from A to Z, like what is trading, to the full on how to find a draw on liquidity. What is market structure? What is my whole trading strategy? What has helped me become profitable? That will be hopefully available by the end of this month. So if you are interested in that, follow me on Instagram. I'll start posting updates about that as the time approaches. And then of course below on my link tree you'll find other helpful links. You can see my P&L from last month just to see the consistency behind me as a trader. I like to be as transparent as possible, and yeah. Thank you so much again for joining the live. I thank you for rocking with me all the way to the very end. And I don't think it's a coincidence that you guys are here at the very end to hear this message. And it's that God loves you. All right. He knows the struggles of your heart, the struggles that you're going through, and he wants you to seek him. So turn around, face him, follow him. All right. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much again for all of the questions tonight. Let me just take one last look at the chat. Clips Risky, you've been thinking of starting, but you hear it's gambling and discouraging you. It is gambling if you have no idea what you're doing. Don't let that get to my head. Thank you, thank you. Do I stream every day? Nico, not every single day, but I try to go live twice a week. So yeah. What's good, AJ? Oh, you got the live too late. I'm sorry, man. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, drop some W's in the chat if you guys want me to post this live to YouTube. I've had that request before. I haven't asked it in a while, but yeah, let me know if you guys want me to post this in the chat. Drop some W's. W, nice. Okay, just one W is more than enough for me. All right, I'm gonna download this this live, and then I'm gonna post it on my YouTube. So if you don't follow me on my YouTube yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe so you can get the notification of when that gets uploaded. SJ9, thank you so much for the Let Him Cook. I just noticed it. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Let's kill the market tomorrow like we always do every single day. God bless. Rest up. And I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.